Welcome to Warfield Prepper Chronicles. Today we're diving into a fascinating topic: the winter ventilation habits that kept homes healthier before HVAC systems. If you find this interesting, subscribe and like the video to be the first to access our videos. Before HVAC systems sealed homes into airtight boxes, winter ventilation was deliberate, controlled, and constant. Homes across Europe, Asia, and early North America were designed to breathe even in freezing weather. Small openings near the roofline, transom windows above doors, smoke holes, vent bricks, and loosely fitted shutters allowed stale air to escape while retaining usable heat at body level. The goal was never to flush the house with cold air, but to exchange bad air slowly and continuously. People understood that stagnant air made winter sickness worse, even if they didn't use modern terminology like indoor air quality. Winter forced people indoors for long stretches, increasing exposure to smoke, moisture, pathogens, and carbon monoxide from hearths and stoves. Ventilation reduced respiratory illness, mold growth, and headaches caused by poor combustion. In cold seasons, moisture trapped inside homes condensed on walls and bedding, creating damp conditions that worsened arthritis, lung problems, and infections. Continuous ventilation kept interiors dry without stripping away warmth. This balance was achieved through architecture, habit, and timing rather than machines. Heat rises, and historical builders worked with this fact. Upper vents, clerestory openings, and roof vents allowed the warmest, most contaminated air to exit naturally. Fresh air entered through lower gaps around doors, floor-level vents, or loosely sealed windows. This created a slow convection cycle that refreshed air without chilling occupants. Thick walls of stone, earth, or timber absorbed heat during the day and released it at night, offsetting heat loss from ventilation. The house stayed warm where people lived and slept, while stale air quietly escaped above them. In many regions, winter ventilation followed a strict daily rhythm. Early morning airing was common, when indoor air was most polluted from overnight fires and, just regular breathing. Windows or shutters were cracked for a short period, often 5 to 15 minutes, then closed again before walls and furniture cooled. Bedding was aired near hearths or windows to remove moisture. This habit reduced lice, mites, mold, and respiratory issues without sacrificing thermal comfort. The key was brief, intentional airflow rather than leaving openings exposed all day. Fireplaces were not just heat sources, they were powerful air extractors. A lit hearth pulled air up the chimney, drawing fresh air into the home through small openings. This constant draft removed smoke, odours, and moisture. Even when fires burned low, the chimney maintained airflow. In homes with multiple rooms, interior doors were often left ajar to allow air circulation toward the hearth. Modern sealed homes lose this passive ventilation advantage, trapping pollutants unless mechanical systems compensate. Natural materials played a critical role. Lime plaster, wood, wool, and stone all breathe at a microscopic level. They absorb and release moisture, reducing condensation during cold weather. This worked hand in hand with ventilation, keeping humidity balanced. When warm, moist air exited the home, walls could dry rather than rot. In contrast, modern synthetic materials trap moisture, making ventilation even more important, but often neglected. Now you can actually apply these principles without, tearing your house apart. In winter, it's best to focus on short, controlled ventilation cycles rather than just keeping windows cracked all day. Try opening windows on opposite sides of the home for 5 minutes in the morning to create cross-ventilation, then close them fully. This simple routine refreshes indoor air without cooling the structural materials of your house. If you're using a wood stove or fireplace, make sure the chimney draws properly and avoid sealing the house too tightly. Let the fire do part of the ventilation work, just as folks have done for generations. Pay attention to humidity. It's more important than people often realize. If you notice your windows fogging up or the walls feeling damp, that's a sign your air is too stagnant. Brief ventilation will solve this far better than simply turning up the heat. In sleeping areas, it's a good idea to crack a window slightly at night if it's safe to do so, just as many historical households did. Cooler, fresher air not only improves sleep quality, but also reduces condensation from breathing, which can make a real difference over time. For those preparing for grid-down scenarios, winter ventilation is absolutely essential. Wood heat without airflow can lead to, dangerous indoor conditions. It's wise to design ventilation paths in advance by identifying where warm air can exit safely. A roof vent, stovepipe damper adjustment, or upper window vent can all help maintain airflow, even during extreme cold. Practice these controlled airing routines now, so they become habit when conditions are harsh and you really need them. In cold climates, it's important to combine ventilation with insulation strategies that have been used historically. For example, hang thick curtains at night, block drafts at floor level, and ventilate above head height. This approach, mirrors what older homes did. They kept warmth where it mattered, while still allowing air exchange overhead. These methods really reduce fuel consumption while protecting health. Modern heating systems, they do raise air temperature, but they often ignore air quality. Sealed buildings tend to trap carbon dioxide, volatile compounds, and, excess moisture. The result? Dry throats, headaches, respiratory irritation, and, unfortunately, increased illness during winter. Older ventilation habits, they really address these problems directly. Warmth alone was never the goal. Livable air was. Reintroducing controlled ventilation, it restores that balance without abandoning modern comfort. The past didn't survive winter by accident. People observed, adjusted, and refined habits over centuries. Winter ventilation was a health practice, not an architectural flaw. Homes were designed and lived in as systems that managed heat, air, and moisture together. When you apply these principles today, you reduce sickness, improve comfort, and increase resilience during cold seasons. If this kind of historically grounded practical knowledge matters to you, make sure you subscribe to Warfield Prepper Chronicles and, like this video so it reaches others who value real-world wisdom. Share it with fellow historians, survivalists, and anyone facing winter who wants solutions that actually work.